There was an exchange with a male name I didn't recognize. I opened up the thread to find that this man was emailing my wife sex tapes of their affair while they shared S-word explicit banter. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go over a story about a guy. He's 37, been married to his wife for 7 years, and lo and behold, one day he was going through email. I'm not sure exactly how he got into her email, but he did, and he found a whole email chain with her talking to this dude, and guess what? He was sending her videos. Videos of what, you ask? Well, all sorts of very adventurous videos of her and him doing all sorts of things that would qualify under adult entertainment. This guy couldn't believe it because he thought he was in this amazing, wonderful marriage. And you're going to see, guys, he confronts her about this and the whole drama fest that goes on. Now, this story came from Reddit, so I don't have an official title because a subscriber sent this to me, copy and pasted the story, so I don't have the official title. But the long story short is, it's a complete mess. And you're going to see in this story, guys, how essentially he can't get over the fact that she was doing all these things with that guy that she wouldn't do with him, because he thought they had a great marriage. He couldn't quite understand that. But I understood that, because when it comes down to it, the more a woman's attracted to you and wants your attention and validation, the more adventurous she'll be in the sack. The less attracted she is to you, the more boring she'll be in the sack. End of story. And you're going to see how this thing goes, guys, how he handles it with her and her reasons, and of course the blame shifting and all that. And ultimately, it's going to end, well, you're going to see with him thinking about talking to an attorney and handling things the right way. But anyhow, guys, I'm going to get into this more, and you'll see more in real time this whole crazy situation, which doesn't surprise me, and I'm sure won't surprise many of you. So it starts off, he says, my wife and I have been married for 7 years, together for 10. I am 37 and she is 32. And our marriage has been amazing up until recently. How many times have you all heard that? It wasn't so amazing if she was doing what she's been doing for a long time. We get into the occasional disagreements, like every couple, but for the most part, it's been a loving, fulfilling, and happy for both of us. Again, that's what he thinks. While not as frequently as before, we still share an active and healthy SCX life as well. She is truly, wait for it, guys, my goddess. Smack. Right there. That tells you about his attitude towards her. When a guy says his girl is his goddess, she's up on the throne. Not the pedestal, the throne. The throne in heaven, wherever goddesses go. Which means he kisses her ass, treats her like the queen or the goddess, all that. And what happens to guys when they treat their wives like that? Well, you'll see. He says she's beautiful, smart, funny, etc. And I take great pride in the lifestyle that I provide for us. While I work anywhere from 40 to 60 hours per week, she is a part-time professor at a community college as well as a yoga instructor, her passion. Yoga instructor, so she has to have a body. And he's working full-time, even more than full-time, and she's working part-time. 4 months ago, I was rocked when I curiously peeked through her email. There was an exchange with a male name I didn't recognize. I opened the thread to find that this man was emailing my wife sex tapes of their affair while they shared sexually explicit banter. Well, what happened to the wonderful, amazing marriage that he was convinced he had? A rush of emotions came over me, but fortunately I had hours to compose from the rage and formulate a plan before she got home. I felt as though I was blindsided. I could not stop watching the 2 videos and could not fathom that the life I'd worked so hard to build with her could be taken from me. I packed a plan to preparing to confront her and then leave for the night in order to sort things out on my own. Good. In fact, what you should have done is packed her shit up in a garbage bag, because she's garbage, put it out on the freaking porch or down by the curb and said, get the F out of here. That's what he should have done. Because she's cheating, having a full-blown affair, and wait till you hear, guys, some of the stuff she was doing. I'm not going to hold back when I get to that part of the story. Think this guy's ever going to get this out of his head? Hell no. I dropped the bomb on her, and immediately she began to tear up and sob in front of me, admitting to it and profusely apologizing. I got upset and told her I would find another place to stay. Her crying went into hysteria. She was begging and pleading for me to stay. Why is he leaving? I'd be like, you get your ass out of here. She called me nonstop during the time I stayed at my brother's house, leaving messages saying that she loved me and it was the biggest mistake of her life. We've heard that before. After 2 weeks, I missed her. Smack. So I went home to reconcile. I kept asking her how could she do this to me, and each time she replied, I don't know. It just happened. I found out that he was a 27-year-old professor at the college and began working in my wife's department months prior. Began missing her. I get his emotions are going all over the place, and he's been married to her and he loves her and all that, but he loved someone that wasn't the real her. And again, why the hell did he leave? And go home to reconcile? There's no reconciliation here, okay? She's having a full-blown affair. It wasn't like one little time and she came and told him. What if he hadn't discovered those emails? This could have been going on for years, right? Think about it. Once a cheater, always a cheater. She's not going to change. He takes her back. She's going to lose more respect for him and do worse in the future once she realizes her meal ticket is in place. Remember, he's working full-time, busting his butt to take care of her. She works part-time and also as a yoga instructor. I told her my trust would have to be earned back, but she had already come up with a plan to earn my trust back, including cutting the guy out of her life, changing jobs, allowing me to track her phone and car, giving me access to her email accounts, submitting to an STD test, and going to therapy. Well, what she needs to do is go to the sporting goods store, get some knee pads, because she's going to need them, because she's going to be on her knees multiple times a day, every night, multiple times a day, for months. And I don't need to elaborate what she'll be doing. Doesn't matter if she's going to do all this. You're done, honey. Get the F out. I could feel the deep remorse and her desire to reconcile. Her Oscar-worthy performance here. Since she has been grateful for the opportunity I'd given her, held up to her end 100%, and generally been a very pleasant and loving person to be around. But if only the trust could fix the damage. It's not going to fix the damage. He's not going to trust her anymore. He's going to visualize her doing those things, which you're going to hear in a second what they were. And every time she's on her phone, he's going to be thinking, is she talking to somebody else? Every time he leaves the house, he's going to be thinking, is she in my bed with some other dude? Or doing this or whatever? But these guys have to learn the hard way. Even with all the relationship progress, I cannot fight the constant pain and torment that comes from thinking of the details of her affair. What'd I tell you? The memory of the videos is burned into my brain, and feelings of pain, humiliation, and embarrassment overcome me. This has led to much stalled progress as I have harbored much resentment for my wife because of it. And that resentment ain't going anywhere, dude. Their sex was completely unprotected. Oh, that's nice of her. And he was well endowed. She did things with this man that we as a married couple have never done, like wear different lingerie, and enthusiastically perform oral on him. He says it feels like a chore when she does it for me. What really hurts is that she had backdoor action with him and swallowed his man love juice more than once. Those were two things I asked her if she was willing to try in our relationship, and she would always detest referring to them as gross or degrading. But how interesting, she won't do these things with her husband, the guy that says she's his goddess, you heard the goddess part, and treats her like the goddess, and provides. She's not going to do that stuff with him, but to some associate professor who's 10 years younger than him, she's willing to do all those things. Why? We all know why. Because her husband, she simply is not attracted to. She doesn't see it that way. This guy, she's attracted to her lover. She wants his validation. She wants his approval. Therefore, she's willing to do all that. The more they like you, the more they want your approval to get something from you, the more they're willing to do. The less they like you, the more they think they have you, they're not doing anything. It's a fact. But words cannot describe how much she degraded herself in this video. It makes me sick to picture the disgusting things she did, like licking his back door or giving him oral directly after the backdoor action. But worst of all, she seemed more enthusiastic about all of it than she ever had about our sex life in 10 years. That goes to show how obviously this guy, her husband, is the low man on the totem pole. And it's a shame. More opportunity and reasons to get out. You want to be married to someone that just sees you as a meal ticket? It's not worth it. He's 37. He's married her 7 years. Okay, walk away. Take the hit. Move on. I've asked her why she would do these things and how she could do these things with him, and she refused to do with me. Her answer always was, wait for it guys, I don't know. I'm constantly being ripped apart seeking an answer to this question. Needless to say, my self-esteem is shot. I saw with my own eyes that this man turned her on more than I have, and she has a much stronger desire to please him. This has caused us to have intimacy problems ever since. Since her answer is, I don't know, it is always running through my mind, and that is because my penis was too small, or that I'm too weak, or that I was an inadequate lover. Understandably, he's thinking these things, and trust me, the whole I don't know part, she knows darn well, but she's not going to tell him, I'm not attracted to you. You don't turn me on. You are my meal ticket. I married you and settled for you. She's not going to say these things. But that's what her actions are communicating, loud and clear for the whole world to see. These thoughts and feelings are causing so much emotional turmoil and build up resentment towards my wife. She is putting in such a strong effort, but my feelings don't seem to go away or lose intensity. I would like to know if anyone else has dealt with such a problem. Is it fair to myself or my wife to keep trying to work it out? Any help would be much appreciated, as I feel I'm at my wit's end. So he's going to have an update in a moment, but I'm going to speak my mind here. You need to end it with her and move on. Take the hit financially, depending on where you live. You may have to pay some alimony, split the assets, but move on. Okay? She's not into you. End of story. And the reason she says, I don't know, is because, like I said before, she does know, but she's not going to tell you. And I don't know why he hasn't said, hey, okay, you want a second chance with me? All those things you were doing in those videos, we're going to start doing. If not, well, see ya. And then I'd let her do all those things just for the fun of it. And then I'd say, see ya. But he's a nice guy. And nice guys finish last. Now with the update as to what happens next. He says, I've been on the fence if I should give an update, but I decided maybe it's good to write this down. I would like to thank all the people who reached out to me. I didn't expect to get so much support from strangers. I did get some nasty messages, but even those seemed to be helpful. The only nasty messages I can imagine him getting are people saying, dude, end it with her. Other than that, I can't imagine somebody blaming him. So over the last couple of months, we've been in therapy, but she wasn't very forthcoming as to why she did this. However, I eventually did find out why, but not through any therapy session. I think many of you already know why, and I just couldn't accept it. We shall see. We were invited to her friend's 30th birthday party, and I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to get out. The party went pretty late, and my wife was really drunk. This is rare for her, given her focus on yoga. I ended up calling an Uber, and we went home. She was really loud during the ride home, and I was just annoyed. When we got home, I thought, given how drunk she is, maybe she'd be more open to telling me about the reason for her affair. Alcohol is a truth serum. Before I continue, I think I should give you a little more background about my wife and myself. Over the last 5 years or so, I've gained over 50 pounds because of my total focus on my career. Uh-oh. Not good. Yoga instructor, and he's put on over 50 pounds. I'll come back to that later. Unfortunately, along with the weight, I have prematurely graying hair. I've been promoted a number of times, and my salary has increased significantly. I was doing this for us so she could be a stay-at-home mom when we have kids. So, with the weight and graying hair, I look much older than my actual age. My wife, on the other hand, has become very fit over the last 5 years while becoming a yoga instructor. She still has her blonde hair, and I would say she looks younger than her age. So, what we have here, guys, is we got a damn good-looking chick. She's 32. Okay, she's in her 30s, but still, she obviously looks good, does the yoga instructor. Believe me, I haven't never seen an unattractive yoga instructor, but that's just my experience. He's put on over 50 pounds. I respect he's busting his ass on his grind, on his purpose to do well for himself and his family. I'm cool with that. But you can't let yourself go physically. And this is both my natural personality and the personal trainer in me coming out. You can't let yourself go. He can't change his hair. Okay, fine. He can diet. But gain 50 or 60 pounds, average guy is like, I think, 5'8", 5'9", so that's a big deal. Okay? So I can't blame her for losing physical attraction. I can blame her for cheating and doing all those awful things. She's an asshole for that. So this guy isn't helping himself. This guy should cut her loose, start over, take the hit in divorce, and lose the fucking weight. Go to join a gym. Be healthy. He's almost 40 years old. Can't mess around with that, guys. So, although she's the a-hole, he let himself go. And I, again, respect he's busting his butt. But, and she should have talked to him about that. That's what she should have done. She should have communicated in a direct way and help him out, whatever. But instead of just cheating on him and all that. But you're going to see there's more to it. Usually, I didn't think much of this difference in looks, but I guess I should have. Thinking back, I remember a number of times where my wife was hit up at the grocery store if we were out with friends. He says, so back to my drunk wife. She did end up telling me more about the affair. She admitted that she found him attractive and fit. He'd come to her office and they would go to lunch. He started taking her yoga class, which I didn't know. So they would hang out after that as well. He would flirt, which would make her feel attractive, and progressively he asked her more personal questions, which then moved on to the sex talk. She could have stopped him at any time. This was a coworker of hers, okay? She could have stopped him, but she didn't because she liked him, and she liked the attention. And I don't want to hear that he made her feel attractive. Guess what? She knows she's attractive. I guarantee you she gets checked out wherever she goes. And as the yoga instructor, I took one yoga class my entire life, guys, right before COVID happened. I did it for the hell of it. And you think the whole time I'm looking around the room and becoming one with the universe with the weird yoga music and everything? No. I was checking out the hot yoga instructor's ass that was stretching in the front of the room and the other hot chicks around me. That was right before COVID happened. One time I took a yoga class. I want to take a break from martial arts and see what yoga was all about. And I didn't care about the downward dog and all the positions. I just want to see the hot chicks' asses in those yoga pants. And that was it for me. She gets all the attention she wants. He would flirt, ask her questions, blah, blah, blah. She thought he was aggressive, but she liked the attention and it made her feel wanted. The attention. Still, she didn't think he would proceed further than that. But one night at a faculty dinner, they both drank a little too much wine. My wife had forgotten something at her office, and he walked her there since it was dark outside on campus. After they got to her office, he kissed her, and they ended up having you-know-what on her desk. So it's his fault, and that's the alcohol's fault. She would never do such a thing on her own. Well, okay, fine, this is one time. What about all the other times? What about the whole process of recording it and everything? See? After they got to their office, they ended up hooking up. After that, it escalated from there. She never expected to do all those things, but he would be slightly more aggressive and push her during each of their encounters. She eventually just went with it and realized she enjoyed him being so dominant. Yeah, she would never do it otherwise, but because he suggested it and was being dominant, well, then that's okay. It's because she really liked him, because she was turned on and wanted to get his validation. That's why. End of story. She was crying as she was telling me all of this, of course. I kept saying sorry. She said that the guilt had been eating at her, and she said I didn't deserve to be treated like this, given how I'd been to her. She just wished it never happened and doesn't know why she lost control like that. She kept saying that she loves me. It's always the same story. I don't know why I did this. You're so amazing. I love you. Blah, blah, blah. Well, if you would have loved me, you would have done that. End of story. I said to her that basically she screwed this guy and let him do whatever to her because she found him attractive, wanted to make him happy, and didn't want to lose him. She cheated because she thinks I'm ugly. She kept saying no, but I know that is why. I told her I need time to myself to process all this. Well, I want to point something out. He said he put on like 50 pounds over the last 4 or 5 years, busting his ass, and he let himself go. Okay, fine. But what about the years beforehand when he was thinner and in better shape? She still wasn't doing all those things with him that he wanted to do that he saw her do with that dude. So obviously it wasn't just a fact about physical looks. She was also not turned on by this dude anyway back then. So this whole it's just the looks thing is bullshit. So there it is, you have it. I guess the reason is straightforward, but it still hurts. I haven't spoken to a lawyer yet, but I did look into divorce in my state. It seems like according to the law, I have to pay alimony for half the length of the marriage, so 5 years. And it will be 40% of the difference in our pay. So about 40 grand. I also have to give her half of my 401k. I need to see if this is true, as I think it would be unfair given that she cheated. I'm also thinking of reaching out to the guy she cheated with. I found his Instagram, and what is disturbing is that he seems to have a girlfriend. So this is a really crappy all around. So that is it for this guy's story. And I'm going to say this. Right there, notice he did a little research on the divorce in his state. and he'd have to give her alimony for half the time they were together. So he's thinking almost 5 years, and half his 401k. You want to talk about fucking bullshit. She was cheating, not just having a full-blown affair. He had actually footage of this, and still she's going to get something? You want to talk about why men are waking up and not getting married? Right here. He didn't do anything. She should pay him. Now, I will say this. He's 37. Now, I don't know what he does for a living. I don't know what kind of money he makes, what kind of money he has in his 401k. But in my opinion, what he should do is cut her loose. Take the hit. Fine. He pays her alimony for 4 or 5 years. It's bullshit. She gets half the 401k right now. And hopefully it's smaller, not too huge. I'm assuming it's of the balance right now. Take the hit and move on. He can rebuild. He obviously can bust his ass at his job. He can get that money back and move on. And I might add, join a fucking gym, get a trainer, get a nutritionist to help him lose that weight, be in the best shape ever, and he can come out stronger. That's what he should do. He should not stay married to her because he's never going to forget this. She's not attracted to him. She's only with him for his resources. End of story. And this, guys, is an example of pretty much the modern marriage. Not necessarily every wife is doing this in this degree, but in terms of they settled for you guys out there that didn't get girls when you were younger, they didn't really pay attention to you, but then you got to be about late 20s, early 30s, start having resources, and the same girls that wouldn't give you the time of day when you're younger are giving to you now. That's because you got resources. That's because they're ready to settle. And I guarantee you, they're not giving you the bedroom fund they gave Chad and Tyrone back in college. Guaranteed. So this is very similar to what is happening and can happen. So be careful. And for you guys that are thinking about marriage, think about these stories. You really want to vet your girl, amongst many other things. Or just not get married altogether. You're a relationship guy? Okay. Do relationships. But don't marry them. Don't even move in with them. That's a whole other story. But anyhow, guys, that'd be a good one to go over here. At least he's thinking about the whole divorce thing. It's entering his mind. Hopefully he does that choice. Take the hit in the short term, dump her ass, kick her to the side of the road, and move on. That's all he can do. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.